"Dragon!" hissed Islington. Pentonville scowled at him. "It wasn't funny the first 3 times. Now it's just annoying." "Dragon!" hissed Islington again, jabbing his finger at the sky behind them. Sir Riff, the melodic knight who was providing light entertainment during their trek, turned to look. What he saw must have chilled him to the bone, for he dived under a nearby bush and put his hands over his head. Meanwhile, Islington had also taken refuge, leaving Pentonville standing in the open, totally and completely alone. He said, his voice heavy and resigned, "There really is a dragon behind me, isn't there?" Only minutes earlier, they'd been traipsing through the harsh, rocky countryside, deep in conversation. "Have you thought about this mission of ours?" Pentonville had asked Islington. "Really thought about it, I mean." "I've thought of little else," replied Islington. "It's insane, ridiculous, impossible. We're to travel deep into dragon-infested country, seeking a man of metal so that we might capture him and bring him to Lord Child. A man of metal, I might add, who had no trouble snapping the finest manacles in the city dungeon as though they were made of straw." "It is going to be a bit of a challenge," admitted Islington. "A bit of a challenge? This quest will be the death of us, and you know it." That conversation had taken place only moments earlier, and now it seemed death was even closer than they thought, especially for Pentonville. Fortunately, the dragon was flying high, and at that altitude it looked more like a large bat than a fearsome killing machine. Unfortunately, aside from their legendary bad temper, legendary cruelty, and legendary sense of hearing, dragons also had pretty good eyesight. So Pentonville stood rooted to the spot, and tried not to look like a ready-to-eat meal. "It's all right. I think it's gone," whispered Islington, at least 20 or 30 minutes later. Actually, he suspected the dragon had flown off pretty much straight away, but where instant death was concerned, he preferred to err on the side of caution. Plus, he wasn't absolutely certain it had gone, because the sunlight left dancing spots in his eyes, although none of those spots appeared to have leathery wings and a long, bony tail. Meanwhile, Sir Riff emerged from the bushes, dusting himself down. Then, without warning, he burst into song. "There once was a soldier, all devious and cunning, whose primary defence was ducking and running, till one day a dragon flew over at night, and our bold friend the hero didst near die of fright." Islington protested. "It isn't night, it's mid-afternoon." Pentonville said sourly, 4 lines of insulting lyrics, and that's the part you don't like, Islington." Sir Riff said huffily, "I'm so sorry for my mistake. Perhaps this version is more to your liking. Till one day a dragon flew over at noon, and our cowardly hero did stammer and swoon." Pentonville said nothing, but his hand tightened on the hilt of his sword. Then he remembered the weapon's stunted 6-inch blade, and the sergeant's laughter as he'd handed it over just before they left the barracks. Sir Riff, on the other hand, carried a long, sharp sword made out of shiny new steel, and so Pentonville released the hilt and pretended he'd been going for the water bottle all along. "How far have we travelled, do you think?" he asked the others, once he'd slaked his thirst. "There are 3 hours until sundown. Maybe 15 leagues." "We should have brought the horses." Islington shook his head. "You know what that archer said at the watchtower? Dragons love the taste of their flesh." He gestured. "That, and the bushes aren't very big. There's barely enough cover for us, let alone a horse's ass." "They covered him well enough," said Pentonville, with a nod at Sir Riff. The knight was busy composing his next effort, and chose to ignore the slight. Pentonville continued, "It's incredibly dangerous, our chance of success is nil, and we're obviously going to die." Islington lowered his voice. "Then we'll deal with this quest the same way we dealt with the last one.